Welcome into the rinks at Exeter, our first of 3 championship games on this Sunday afternoon. We start with the 2008s as Team Vermont and Team New Hampshire will take on each other here. New Hampshire winning earlier this morning in a thriller, 4-3 in overtime over Team Maine to clinch their spot here in the title. For Vermont, a pair of wins in the preliminary round, 4-2 over Team Maine and 8-2 yesterday morning here over Team New Hampshire, who are hoping that today is a different day, trying to ride the wave of their overtime win this morning when Matthew McInnes scored 59 seconds into the extra session to give New Hampshire the victory and a chance here to win this 2024 New England Rivalry Challenge Series, going up against a Vermont team that has been potent through 2 games in this tournament. They have scored already 12 goals as Sapp's long shot goes wide of the net, occupied by McAuliffe. New Hampshire struck first in that meeting. 16 seconds in, but it all went downhill after that as Vermont would score the next 4 goals in the first to lead 4-1 after 1 period of play. It's been hard to contain this group as it's sent in cross corner. There's the first shot from Smale and the first save for Cam Jackson. Cam Jackson and Vaughn McAuliffe are the starting goaltenders here in this game as Smale going forward off the draw, testing Jackson off the blocker. This big line for Vermont's been tough to contain as it's shuffled over to Smith, and that shot going wide, picked off nonetheless by Jackson. Puck careens back into neutral ice where Smith controls for Vermont. Pass couldn't be collared there by Smale. It's Ballard moving back in. Ballard defended there by Smale as this puck is cleared out off of LaRoche's stick. And we get a whistle here, I believe, for a delayed offside. Pass up the wing, didn't land for Donati. McInnes will curl around his own goal. As LaRoche up the wing off the stick of Garrett Turcotte, who is the leading point scorer in this 2008 age bracket. Puck saucered up the wing. Keeler couldn't get his stick onto it, as McInnes will try and shield against him. McInnes almost put that onto his own goaltender. Keeler really applying the back pressure there. As this backhander up to the line. Vermont unable to keep the zone. As McInnes will go D to D. Cam Clark looking up ice. He'll gain the red line and snap this in off the back glass. Puck pops all the way back into the neutral zone where it gets over Cronin's stick. Clark is back defensively. As this puck is into the circle, Longfield couldn't get control of it as it's wedged up, but gloved down by the big defenseman, Sully Martin. Puck played back through Sapp. He wrestles possession and sends it around the wall. Cronin was bumped down to his knees as the puck is into the corner. Sapp guided to the boards there by Martin. As it's tapped up to the line, LaRoche's shot blocked off Longfield. Held in again where LaRoche shoots a deflected puck. Careens in past McAuliffe. And New Hampshire will gladly collect it for the opening goal to lead 1-0. Some friendly fire out in front of Vaughn McAuliffe. And that shot from LaRoche takes a ping-pong-like hop into the back of the goal. Vermont able to break up Turcotte there as he was looking to split defenders. Kwong couldn't get around Rudd's stick as it's pushed back into the zone. Kevin LaRoche gets the opening goal here of this championship game at the 3:37 mark of the first period. Puck pinned up in the corner. LaRoche has his man pressed as the puck is taken out of the zone by Turcotte. Rudd got a stick in onto that as he forces Vermont back behind their own goal. Out they come up the middle. This is Smale. Smale veering wide. Zip that pass through the blue. Leonard turns the puck over. Choupé was bumped off his stride. As stepping up to this is King off the outstretched stick of Smale. Martin brings it back in and lasers that wide stick side. He can fire it. This is ramped up into the zone. Martin is on it. Into the circle. It's cleared away by King. Choupé will flip this into the Vermont zone. Leonard uses the window but can't clear. This backhander is going to go in! A backhander from Ballard fools McAuliffe, and it's 2 goals on 2 shots for Team New Hampshire as they lead it 2-0. Backhanders can always be tricky, but that one did not have much on it, and it wrong-footed McAuliffe, who never had a read on it. And Ballard gives New Hampshire some separation here in this first period. They are shooting the lights out here, a perfect 2 for 2. As Pouliot almost a takeaway. And for Vermont, this is unfamiliar territory. Through 2 games played, they had only allowed a total of 4 goals across 6 periods. As this shot here, blocker down by McAuliffe. He gets a stick onto the rebound to tip it into the corner. Puck played around the boards. Leonard is on it. Now Keeler spooning it back into the New Hampshire zone. Back to get it is McInnes. McInnes, a good pass to lead Turcotte out through center. Turcotte was able to get around Senesac, but couldn't get past the next layer. Turcotte again has that backhand try muffled. Now finds an option here in the circle. That backhander from Cronin lifted through the crease and wide. As LaRoche's shot slowed down there. A turnaround drive goes in. Team New Hampshire cannot stop scoring here in this first period. 3 goals on 5 shots to lead it 3-0 as this was put home by Turcotte. And that will signal a goaltending change here with 8:15 to go in the third. A minute and 15 seconds in between those 2 goals. And Team New Hampshire with a lights out start here. As from the line, this shot going wide. Stewart couldn't get it on target as Smith pinches all the way into the corner where he's pinned up by King. LaRoche moves it away from the slot as Rudd sweeps this all the way down for an icing. As Noah Butkus now in goal for Vermont, trailing here by 3 goals. Mason Ballard striking at the .520 mark. And then Garrett Turcotte with yet another. A minute and 15 seconds later. 3 goals on 5 shots to start this game as that goes off McGinnis's stick and wide. One thing that Vermont has going is there is still a lot of game to be played. And they've proven to be a team who can score in this tournament. They've got their work cut out for them as Pouliot has it taken away. Smale sees it played wing to wing. This is Mobley in over the line. He'll drop it in deep. Mobley was hoping that Barnes could get to it as Martin is given a bump there by Clark. Centering feed, disrupted there by Clark as it's in the slot. Pouliot just clears it away from Smale, who fumbled it. And it's Clark now in. Long shot, sticked aside by Butkus, his first save on his first shot. As lugging this down the wing is Mobley. And he brought himself offside there as the whistle will sound. Quite a start here for Team New Hampshire in this championship game, having played this morning. A lot of emotion in that 4-3 overtime win. Game that saw them cough up a 3-1 lead. They held on to secure the victory. Certainly not playing like a team that started this tournament 0 for 2, including that 8-2 loss to Team Vermont just yesterday morning. Smith dealing with King, who from his belly was able to still cause some trouble, as now Morris works that puck out, and it could be numbers up the ice as Kwong stood up though by LaRoche. As in the corner, bodies hitting the ice all over the place, a physical shift. Ballard throwing his weight around. Smith right up the middle, gains the line. Dealing with Ballard on his back. King plays that back in onto his own goaltender. Jackson covers up with plenty of traffic around him. Off the draw, Vermont will take the puck. Martin shooting, tipped down, never got to Jackson. It was blocked off the body of Clark out in front as a dangerous collision there along the boards. We'll see a penalty come against Team New Hampshire as Rudd is going to go to the box. One of the Vermont players down and just now getting up to a knee. Longfield was shaken up on an awkward-looking collision, and Rudd is going to go, I believe, to the box here. Boarding is the call. And perhaps this is what Vermont needed here to get themselves into this game. A power play with 5:02 to go in the first. Rudd goes off for boarding. Off the straw. The puck leaves the zone. Stewart and Martin together out on the point, along with Donati, Butler, and Keeler. Puck cut off along the boards, and it's lifted all the way back down ice. Turcotte on the clear after Clark had broken up the pass. Stewart has that shot blocked over the goal by Clark. Stewart backpedaling to the line, plays it away from Turcotte. Donati, check there by McInnes. Turcotte to the line, it's not out past Stewart. Now it is out, courtesy of McInnes. Down to half a minute on this Vermont power play. They trail in this first period 3-0. As Keeler drops it off, Martin moving in, and he puts that off the post. A dent in the bar as that puck goes out of play. With 19 seconds remaining on the boarding penalty to Rudd. Martin taps it off the boards. Puck squirts free to Longfield. He'll curl from the corner before LaRoche presses him up to the boards. Rudd is out of the box. Martin, though, holds it in, getting around LaRoche. Martin driving in, feeds it in front, and the tip try from Barnes goes wide. Back out high, it's Longfield covering. He'll fire all the way through, a stick save for Jackson. Puck battle here in the far corner. Longfield comes away with it. While falling, he got that shot on goal. Jackson the save. As Vermont starting to buzz here around the net. Laid around the boards by Mobley. Longfield lost it in a battle there with Ballard, but the puck still not out of the zone as Martin moves in. Longfield had that blocked by Ballard. And then Ballard turning around, able to hack it out to neutral ice. As Gatewood splits his way up through the neutral zone. It's played off Cronin's legs, and he'll settle things down for New Hampshire. Cronin had that cut down by Kwong. Kwong darts back to the outside, drops it in off the boards. Morris on the return. Kwong in tight, got a tip. Smale, though, couldn't get it on to Jackson. Puck back up to the point. Smith shooting, and a glove save by Jackson, who calmly sees it into the mitt. New Hampshire with just one shot on goal after the goaltending change was made. Shots are 13-1 in that span. It was 5-3 after Turcotte's goal found the back of the net and spelt the end of Vaughn McAuliffe's day in between the pipes. This is sailed in on to Butkus. He'll keep play moving out of his equipment as Cronin lays a check. More bodies continue to hit the ice as Smith went down hard. Clark stands up on to Smale. Brought back in by Turcotte. Turcotte trying to go short side, and Butkus kept to his feet. Puck taken out of the corner. Sapp finds Turcotte. That was blocked, though, as Morris was forced to take the hit there to make the play. Final minute of this first period. Martin fresh onto the ice. Steps in front of that pass and gets around Rudd. Martin, a no-look backhand feed through the slot and wide as it's lifted out to center. Glove down and controlled by Smale. As Morris gives that puck away, and it can be dropped into the zone, where Rudd heads off to change. Stewart will shuffle this up the wing. Navari's in with a shot off the blocker of Jackson. 15 to go in the period, as Jackson will rattle this puck around the glass. And it just cleared the zone as Martin tried to keep that in off his skate. Eight seconds to go here in the period as LaRoche will just spoon it through center. And Team New Hampshire can take a 3-0 cushion into the second period to start this championship game off. They open the scoring 3 minutes and 37 seconds in, and follow that up with a pair of goals separated by 1 minute and 15 seconds. As despite being outshot 14-8, they have a 3-goal lead over the number 1 seeded Team Vermont, as we'll take a quick breather here from Exeter and be back in just a moment. Ready to get the second period started here between Team Maine and, getting my teams and states jumbled up, between Team New Hampshire and Team Vermont, as Turcotte gets a takeaway and tries to go high to the short side. Butkus alert to that in the opening 12 seconds of the second period. New Hampshire with a 3-0 lead on goals from LaRoche, Ballard, and Turcotte. Can Vermont find a way back into the fight here? Butkus trying to leave it there for his defense. Not a clean handoff, as Navarre will play it back around the goal. Gatewood taken down there by Pouliot. It's Martin trying to stretch the ice out. It went off LaRoche's glove. Covered up by Jackson, who didn't appreciate what was coming to him there in terms of the snow shower. He gave a bit of a slash there, and now we'll get a talking to from the referees. And I believe they're calling the goaltender here, though they might be. Unless it's just a warning. It appears as though that is what it was, just a warning to the New Hampshire bench that the next time that happens, Jackson will get booked for 2 minutes. Now it appears as though one of the Vermont players has an equipment issue. I'm not sure. It'll stay 5-on-5 as that shot blocked away. Going to assume that they booked Leonard for that snow shower there, as this is played off the pads of Jackson. Big collision there. Stewart was playing all of the body there as he caved Cronin in. He'll head to the box for interference, and New Hampshire will take to the power play. Face-off is won, back to Clark. Power play underway for New Hampshire, looking for their 4th goal of the game. McInnes into the circle, gets it back and controls. Over he goes to Clark. Back across, McInnes sizzles that over the net. Caroms out the other side, and it was just swiveled wide by Fogg, who was standing in front. Puck swatted at by Rudd. It then goes off his helmet, and a nice grab there by Kean Corcoran, the backup goaltender. Lively end boards here from the rinks at Exeter. That McInnes shot came out the near side in a hurry, and Fogg almost swiveled it into the open side. McInnes and Clark will play catch, as McInnes now will step in over the line, dropping it off where Ballard will bash it around. Choupé in the corner. He is bumped by Smith. Martin closed off by Pouliot. It's brought back in by Clark, but he was hassled there from behind by Keeler. Now Kwong moving down the wing shorthanded. Martin is trailing. Oh, and Jackson stood with him and just did enough to disrupt the shot. Martin had a lot of room upstairs and just couldn't put it up underneath the bar as the power play expires. Almost a shorthanded goal there for Vermont, as Kwong with nearly a takeaway. It forces McInnes back. And now it is Clark carrying it down the wing. That was waved at by Butkus as it sailed over the net. Played across to King. He'll lob one into space where Smith sees Ballard step through him and then around Martin. Ballard at the tail end of the shift will just hack one in deep. Keeler there to fiddle it up the wing where Navari backhands it out. Up rolling on its edge. Kwong chops it back up the boards. Gatewood up to the line. Navari tries to bank it in towards the corner, but it's brought out of the zone, and Cronin will dump it in. Gatewood able to nudge this puck around, but it's given away right to Sapp off the skates of Senesac. Gathered up as Vermont moving in, but the pass riding along the blue line goes offside. Smale wins the draw as Vermont still searches for their first goal. Jackson will whip it around the wall himself. It leaves the zone as unable to keep it in was Gatewood. Roche steps up through center as Longfield looks to knife his way through, but he could not pull the trigger. Ballard standing in his way as Butler into the middle. It's blocked down by Donati. Now Martin lets it go off the bar and down. It's centered off of Jackson's stick and cleared away from the zone by Rudd. That's twice off the bar for Sully Martin. As Longfield now cutting into the middle. Low shot is stopped. Jackson sliding to his left, covered, and just did so in time for a whistle. Scrum here in the circle as bodies fall on top of the puck. That was Longfield and Turcotte. Off of Butler's legs, puck not out of the zone. Clark, good recovery to get it out to Pouliot. Pouliot veering wide as Martin comes over and plasters him. Martin now comes away with the puck. Penalty coming up here on New Hampshire as Jackson comes out to touch it. A power play upcoming here for Team Vermont. 9:33 to go here in the second. Choupé to the box. New Hampshire will look to keep Vermont off the board here. Puck played back up to Martin. Martin shoots wide through traffic. Held in by Keeler and played back to him from Martin. They'll exchange the puck as Martin firing. That was blocked off Clark's legs. It's available, and Keeler had that try go off Cronin. Martin plays it across to Keeler. Keeler inching his way, bottom of the circle, and that thuds off the pads of Jackson. Martin. Cross. Smale shoots. Knocked down off Jackson's glove. He couldn't squeeze it. As Keeler falls to his knees, but pitches the puck in below the goal line for Smith. Back out high. Smale from the circle. A double block there from Sapp and McInnes. As Smale tries to go back to the point, but not even Martin's reach is long enough. As Keeler gives the puck away, Sapp tried to hop around him. And Keeler just did enough to play Sapp legally as Smale On the move, Longfield couldn't return that puck back over to the wing. As now out comes New Hampshire, shorthanded still for 10 seconds. Tripping though in over the line was Rugg. Vermont now moving in. Smale just held up a bit by LaRoche. As the teams are back to even strength, Jackson a stick save. As that almost skittered in past the near post. Cleared up from out of the slot by Rudd. As Longfield sends Leonard in. Here's Leonard from the circle and he'll score! The dam finally breaks for Vermont as Leonard makes it 3-1. Shot of the game. They are finally able to solve Cam Jackson, who looks like he's going to have some health issues. this puck is hammered around the wall. Smale cutting his way in. Down the right wing side. Smale with a shot just grazing wide of Corcoran to the stick side. King does just enough to send the puck forward, and it's helped into the zone there by Rugg, who will change out. Gatewood sneaking in down the boards. Ran into King's check. King tosses it around the wall. Choupé trying to work it out past Smith, who closes off the boards. King lobs it up towards the line. A kneeling keep for Smith. Now into the circle. That bomb is right on, and Corcoran able to turn out Keeler. Turcotte in with a long snapper that was shielded by Smith wide. Pouliot knocked down from behind. And now it is Butler dragging it ahead for Vermont. Butler into the circle, and King down to a knee. Blocks that shot off his stick and out of play. McGinnis will flip this puck along to Clark. Cronin looking for a clean outlet, but Ballard couldn't reach for that pass. Offside as he was fighting with Longfield. 3:05 to go here in the second. New Hampshire ahead by 2 here in this championship game, which will be followed up by the 2009 group. Team Maine and Team Massachusetts in that bracket. And then in the 2010s, it's Massachusetts taking on New Hampshire. Puck taken and played up the boards through Stewart and out. Stewart gets a pass over to the wing. It's dropped in to the corner. Clark trying to stick tight onto his man, Mobley. Martin with a reverse shoulder. Drops his man along the wall. Mobley back in. That shot turned out by Corcoran off the stick. As it's tapped out in front, and Corcoran got a piece. Where is it? Off his glove. It's still available at the short side. Now they try and jam it at the far side, and Corcoran somehow getting plenty of help in the blue ice keeps it out. I thought he had that in his glove as it deflected up towards the top corner. Xavier Barnes thought he floated that one in. As did I. It appeared destined to land into the net. But New Hampshire teaming up to help out Corcoran and keep the puck out as he'll pounce on top of this with just over 2 minutes remaining in the second. Vermont just throwing anything they can at the goal here. 35-12 the shots. As Martin gloves this down, and that shot stopped there by Corcoran with Leonard trying to get a tip. Puck here turned out of the slot. Fogg doing the job there as Butkus will set this puck aside. Smith pressured by Turcotte, who gets a steal. Unable to force that pass through Smith as it's chipped out off the boards. Here comes Vermont, 2-on-1. Leonard catches, shoots, and scores! Leonard double dips, and Vermont is back to within a goal with 1:31 to go in the second. (37-13). Doesn't get much more lopsided than that, huh? certainly doesn't. They scored on their 28th shot, and they score here on their 37th shot with 1:31 to go. And Charlie Leonard has a pair here in this second period to pull Vermont to within one. Smale moving in. Puck up behind him. He tries to fight past LaRoche. As Leonard moves this into the corner. Keeler now out into the slot. Smale shoots, kicked away by Corcoran. And the rebound over to the half boards where Pouliot will ice it. Three goals in the opening 6 minutes for New Hampshire. Back in the first period when they were shooting the lights out of the building. Scored twice on their first two shots, 3 goals on their first 5. Haven't scored any on the last 8 they've had, as it's been all Vermont. That shot blocked down by Clark out in front. Final 40 seconds of the period. It has been all Vermont here. After trailing 3-0, they now trail 3-2. Long shot is in on to Butkus. His first shot in a while, and he gloves it. With 30 and a half ticks to go here before we get to a break. Puck taken by New Hampshire off the draw. McGinnis looked towards goal and tried to play it into the corner. Keeler gets the steal. Now Kwong brings it in, trying to get past McGinnis. He'll play it through the corners in the final dozen seconds of the period. Puck played off the boards and held in by Smith. Smith sends it to goal, and a save by Corcoran on a dipping shot from the point, as the period will come to a close. Vermont has made a game of it here in this championship match. They entered the period trailing by 3. They'll leave the period trailing by only a goal, as Charlie Leonard with 2 here in the middle stanza to bring Vermont back into this championship game. They trail New Hampshire 3-2 after 2 periods of play. We'll make a fresh sheet of ice here and return to the rinks at Exeter in about 10 minutes. We are back here inside the rinks at Exeter. What a start to our first of 3 championship games this afternoon. Team Vermont fell behind early, 3-0 in the opening 6 minutes and 45 seconds. But they have kicked, clawed, and fought their way back into it, now trailing 3-2, and they pick up right where they left off. Another shot on to Kean Corcoran, who along with Cam Jackson have now faced a combined 40 in this game. The shots are 40-15, and New Hampshire trying to protect a 1-goal lead now. Cronin looking to get past Gatewood. Those two collide along the end boards as it's held in by McInnes. Only 10 shots throughout the rest of the game, after New Hampshire had scored 3 times on their first 5. Puck in back of the nets. Turcotte up to McInnes. Now Clark into the slot. Got a tip and a big save there for Butkus, turning Turcotte aside on the doorstep. That has been the most dangerous player for New Hampshire, and really across this entire tournament. Garrett Turcotte, the leading point scorer, as a short side bid for Navari went off the side of the post. It's saucered indirect all the way down for an icing, as Vermont is looking to just keep the pressure applied. They can feel that tying goal is only a few moments away, and how could you blame them with how they have played in this game? 40 shots, and I'm sure more to come. They have not been deterred, which I think is what really stands out as impressive. Getting down by 3 goals that early, seeing your starting goaltender pulled, that could have deflated a lot of teams. Instead, Vermont finds themselves right in the thick of this championship game. Can New Hampshire keep them at bay, as this should be an icing? And it will be, as this is where New Hampshire wants to see the puck down on this end of the ice. They have not been able to spend much time at all, really, in the attacking zone. But as Tom Petty just said, they have not backed down in their own right. This was a New Hampshire team that had lost their first 2 games through the preliminary round. Had to win in the semifinals this morning just to have the chance here to play for this title. And they did exactly that, despite blowing a 3-1 lead. As look out here, numbers 4 Vermont as a chance to shoot. Winds up as a chance instead to pass. And I think if Butler had the option to do it over again, he wouldn't have passed it. Now he'll take the shot. It was slowed down on the way to Corcoran, who got a piece off the stick. King now in back of the goal, bothered there by Donati, who peels away from the check. Longfield will get on to this puck first, twisting it back up to the point. It's now into the slot for a turnaround try that did not miss from Donati. He tried to go stick side and put it off the end boards, as this wiggling puck just is kicked out across the line. Rudd helps to flip it farther along. As with it now at center, it is Smith off of a stick. King gives the puck away. It's centered out in front, and Barnes didn't have his stick on the ice. New Hampshire avoids any trouble there as they'll bring it in. Long, low shot, sticked aside by Butkus. It pops back out in front, and Butkus able to slam the door shut on Rudd. Chances for both teams at both ends. Longfield will motor his way through center. Still with the puck, navigating his way around the net. Longfield couldn't get that puck through to Barnes. It's Longfield one-handing that through the slot as now Martin holds it in. Lost the handle there as he was bothered from behind by Fogg. Gatewood is pressured at the line as Clark gets a steal. Onside, he ripped a shot high over the net. The Vermont bench thought that was offside. We will still play on as Longfield twirls an indirect pass that couldn't be reached out at center. Around the net for Stewart to play. He turned it over. Gatewood has some time. Angled towards the middle by Morris. LaRoche's pass went off Sapp's skates. It's driven into the zone by Ballard. Almost 5 minutes gone by in this third period. As Kwong's pass, collared there by Morris. Morris, top of the circle, waffle boarded aside by Corcoran, who got all of it. On the move is Ballard, who turns. Kwong almost a takeaway. That was cut off by King, but now Smale's going to lead. A 3-on-2 rush, dropping it for Kwong. Kwong shoots, and a glove save by Corcoran, and he keeps it for a much-needed whistle. Face off to the right of the New Hampshire goal. Smale able to win it back for Smith. Corcoran the save on that long shot. Pouliot ran into Smale. LaRoche now able to lead a rush up ice perhaps. He's got Pouliot with him. Pouliot along the boards, got drilled there on a solid check from Smith. Pouliot right back to his feet. As Sapp now has it, far corner, emerging. And dropping it back down low. Turcotte dunking his way in on the wrap chance. Tried to stuff it, and Butkus got there along with some help. Now again, it's Turcotte stopped as we'll get a whistle. The net is off behind the Vermont goaltender, who had to be alert at both posts. With Garrett Turcotte dangerously lurking there around the net. Tried it at both sides, and Butkus able to shut it down, although that chance on the near side, I want to say that Smith came over to help his goaltender out there on that chance. $9:15 to go here in the third. As Martin's pass cut down through the air by Clark, a nice play. He'll follow it up all the way to the corner. Cam Clark winning the puck here, and now looking to center, but was in the feet of Senesac. And a pass up ice, missing Charlie Leonard. It goes for icing instead on Vermont. Suppose that's who you want with the puck. Charlie Leonard scored both goals in the second period for Team Vermont. Taking this 3-0 deficit, trimming it all the way down to 3-2. Second and third goals of this tournament. Noah Keeler assisted on the first one. Jackson Smale assisted on the second as Butkus kicks aside that shot from McInnes. As a block made there by Leonard, who got away with a shove on Clark. The pass all the way over for Navari. He couldn't get that through. McInnes, who was the hero in sudden death overtime this morning. Who will be the hero on either side in this championship game, as Martin finding Navari on the wing. Navari into the circle, pushed it too far forward. Corcoran got the last touch as it's played past Keeler and then past everybody all the way down, where Butkus, the goaltender, has to play it. Keeler can't get that pass through LaRoche. It is Turcotte back up ice. Turcotte drops it back off for a shot that goes wide. Off the end boards, Turcotte wraps it into the crease, where it was cleared away with urgency by Martin. Garrett Turcotte has had that chance a few times here in the third. Unable to stash it here as he looks to get his team some separation. Turcotte on the move again. Gatewood with the reach, knocked it aside. Longfield moves it around the boards for Smith. Smith a long indirect. Bunted back up ice by LaRoche, and Longfield will have to try again. Looking for room up the wing. Ran into Cronin that time. And it's played across to LaRoche. He fanned on an outlet pass, and it was closed off by Donati. Recovered, though, by New Hampshire, and it's led out by McInnes. Off the backhand of Butkus' stick. Sapp just trying to play anything on net. As it's played away from Smale. Nicely done by Clark. McInnes shoots it in off of Butkus. Ballard on the forecheck, centers. Smale was back defensively, and now out comes Team Vermont. Turning with it is Leonard. It's on for Smale in the corner. He's closed off by the hip check of Clark. Stewart holds the line while getting hauled down. He sent that shot wide as it's fed back out front. Right there, though, was Clark. He'll get to the red line and shoot it in cross corner. 6 minutes to go here in the third. Team New Hampshire nursing this 3-2 lead. Icing is the call as Team Vermont behind the red line there as that pass missed everyone up ice. Clean win for Turcotte as it's wheeled on net. An easy save there on Rudd's shot. LaRoche hoping for a tip. Fogg couldn't get his stick onto the puck. Fogg scrapes it middle. Barnes was there, and he gets it out off the stick of Turcotte. LaRoche tied up there as it's up to the line and kept in by Stewart. Flipped out by LaRoche and then ripped back in by Stewart off the glass. Puck kicked towards the middle and just past the blue line. Martin, though, re-enters quickly. Martin sweeps a pass across, but Smale on his backhand, unable to play it on goal. Barnes was going for a big hit, ended up getting most of the boards. As it's played through neutral ice, Martin down the wing at Smale, shifting gears into the circle, patted down by Corcoran to the corner. Smale, couple nifty moves. Smale between the legs, just missed as he didn't get all of it. Foot race ensues down the wing. Ballard gets to it first. Couldn't stop up on Barnes as it's played up the boards to Keeler. Now Martin ambling his way in over the line. Martin offside as the whistle had just sounded. Corcoran, though, had made the save regardless off the blocker. Ballard able to A-frame and get the puck back to Clark. McInnes turns it up the wall. Pouliot met right away by Keeler. McInnes able to escape the zone here. Gaining the line on the left wing side. McInnes shoved off the puck by Gatewood, but he did his job. Getting it all the way down and out. Under 4 minutes to go here as Kwong kept to the outside by Clark. At the side of the net, Corcoran trying to freeze it. Had to drop his stick there to get the whistle. As it's tied up with 3:45 to go. The shots are 48-26 in favor of Vermont. But they're running out of time here to try and get this game tied as New Hampshire continues to cling on to this 3-2 lead with all of their goals coming early on in this game. LaRoche started it 3:37 in. And just about 3 minutes later, Turcotte had made it 3-0, ending Vaughn McAuliffe's day much earlier than I think he expected. But ever since that goaltending change, Team Vermont has controlled this game, and a pair of goals from Charlie Leonard has them within one late here in the third. We've already seen 2 overtime games back in the semifinal round. Puck played out through center, and Sapp can ship this into the corner where they blow the whistle for icing. Butkus looking over towards the bench. It's still early, 3:17 to go. And Vermont certainly would like to get this game tied up before having to resort to playing 6-on-5. In deep it goes for Martin. No look feed in front, and Keeler was shut down by Corcoran. Great looking setup there, and Keeler just rammed it into the pads of Corcoran as Smith carries in. Trying to fight through Clark, who flips it up and into the protective netting. The next shot on goal will be Team Vermont's 50th of the game. Ian Corcoran has stopped 20 of 21 shots since coming into this game. 2:50 left. Does he have a few more saves in him? Puck stolen away by Keeler. Right back in come Vermont. Smale back for Keeler. Stopped by Corcoran. Held out high. Stewart shoots. And that stung Ballard, who blocked the shot up into the midsection. Held in by Smith, who turns to the forehand. Now it's Smale. Stopped by Corcoran again, and the rebound pops towards the corner. Shooting gallery for Vermont as it's played back to Stewart. And a puck will bounce back off Smale and into center ice. New Hampshire can breathe for only a moment as Smale trying to find Martin. There's the feed, and there's the goal for Keeler. As the game is tied 3-3. .12:59 the time of that goal. Keeler stashing in the feed from Martin, who busted his way through defenders. It felt like only a matter of time for Vermont, who had just continued to fire pucks towards the goal. And Ian Corcoran doing just about everything he can. No chance in stopping that. We're all tied up in this championship affair as the puck is tipped out to center. Vermont will not have to result to pulling their goaltender Butkus, as it feels like we're already now in de facto sudden death with under a buck and a half to go. On the move, Mobley couldn't squeeze that in. Short side, it came out in front where it was blasted wide by Longfield. Turned back down the boards by Mobley. Longfield upended as the puck is kicked along by Turcotte. It's punched back up the wing, and now look out, here comes New Hampshire. Turcotte shooting, and that was blocked off of the defense. Turcotte gets it back, feeds it in front. Oh, what a stop there by Butkus. He came all the way over and made the save to keep it tied with 57 seconds to go. That's one you can go back and look at time and time again. Butkus, a full-out effort as Turcotte showing great stick-to-itiveness. He has been all over the puck for Team New Hampshire, and he put that one on a golden platter. And for a team that has not had many bids like that, for New Hampshire, they can only hope it doesn't come back to haunt them. 57.3 to go. And the save of the weekend undoubtedly belongs to Noah Butkus, who has been perfect since coming into this game. Shots are 54-28. But that was one of the best chances either team has had here in this contest. Face off in the attacking zone. In the skates of the referee. McGinnis will play it all the way around the boards. Smith, who helped manufacture the tying goal, gets it out to neutral ice where it's driven back in by Clark. 40 seconds separating these two teams from overtime. For New Hampshire, it would be their second overtime game of the day. This puck is played past Martin. 25 seconds to go. Smith trying to shake away from Sapp. It's Martin now. Up the wall, but not out. Dozen seconds to go here in regulation. As the puck caroms out to center with 5. Leonard for Smale. Shooting, stopped. Rebound, also stopped by Corcoran at the horn. As Leonard had time and space. And wouldn't that have been something, a buzzer beater for the championship? But why not in a day that's already featured 2 overtime games in the semis? Our first championship game is heading to 3-on-3 sudden death overtime as we'll catch our breath here from Exeter and be back in just a moment. Back here inside the rinks at Exeter, ready to get this championship game back underway in 3-on-3 overtime to determine who the 2008 New England Rivalry Challenge champ will be, Vermont or New Hampshire. New Hampshire led 3-0 after the first period, but Vermont slowly chipping away. 2 goals in the second from Charlie Leonard, and then late in the third period, the game-tying goal coming from Noah Keeler as 3-on-3 overtime is now underway. Who will that hero be? Puck stolen and back and now fed out through the crease off of McGinnis's skates. He was the OT hero this morning. He now leads Cronin down the wing. Cronin will stop up and wheel the puck around the wall. McGinnis trying to get underneath Longfield. It's stolen by Mobley and now played up to Kwong. Cronin back defending as Kwong threads that pass through, but nobody was up ice with him. As it's pressed up now along the kick plate. No movement just yet. As now Kwong and Turcotte separate, jousting for the puck. Kwong knocked down by Turcotte, who kicks it ahead, and now a foot race as Butkus will come out to play it. Cronin steps up on Longfield. Vermont offside here, as now look out, they're changing. It's pushed ahead into space. Turcotte has it. Turcotte's backhander through the crease and out the other side as we get a whistle. And what have we here? Vermont was offside. They were trying to change. And in the chaos of all that, McInnes tried to spring Turcotte. And he just slipped a backhander through the legs of Butkus and wide through the goal crease. As there is a penalty on Vermont. Too many men, do you think? A power play here for New Hampshire in overtime. A chance to win the game. In front, that opportunity off the stick of Butkus. As Clark is roving around the front of the goal. It pops up into the air. He tries to field it, but loses the puck as it's broken out of the zone by Keeler. Keeler drifting. Couldn't pull the trigger past Clark. Ballard nudges it over, and it's Sapp now to carry in. Back for Ballard, who had a goal back in the first. He'll now hit Clark, the trailer. Clark off a defender, stopped it on the rebound, stashed in by Sapp. Team New Hampshire does it again in overtime and wins it by a 4-3 final. They win the 2008 bracket here in the 2024 New England Rivalry Challenge. They entered the day without a win in the tournament, but a pair of 4-3 overtime victories today see them finish as champions, as Kean Corcoran and Cam Jackson team up for a 53 save effort, stopping 53 of 56 shots. And for Noah Butkus, a tough defeat in relief, as that overtime goal from Sapp, the only goal to beat him all game long, as New Hampshire wins a thriller here in overtime, 4-3 the final, and they are your champions. That goal, a power play goal, and it came with 8:03 left here in overtime, as we still have 2 more championship games to go, if you can believe it. Cole Sapp with the OT winner, as New Hampshire takes the 2008 championship title. We now will shift gears to the 2009 bracket. Team Maine and Team Massachusetts have been waiting, and they will